So we must do two things, two great things together to encompass that enormous new view that lies before us, but to encompass it within the framework of science, to see it within the whole categorical framework of science, and to see that these two are not separate, but that they are wedded. The bigness of the idea, the newness of the idea, the greatness of it is one with the structure of science, the structure of being itself.
So we get the feeling and the certainty that we are somehow all moving together in the same order, and that it's the order of spirit. So I think we can see that too about our paradigm shift, quote unquote, our paradigm shifts of consciousness. We spoke about that last year. We've mentioned it in our present class, and you know that it comes up again and again as we are together and speaking about the system, that shift from the 6th to the 7,000 year period, and how that can be perceived either as a sad thing or something that is very, very beautiful. It can be perceived as a sad thing. In what sense? If we don't acknowledge the order of the evolution. And oftentimes there will be a resistance in us to go forward in that order, that we want to hold back to that which we have loved in the past, which we loved in its place value, in its day. So often one hears that, and you hear it at all different levels. Oh, remember when we did this, and remember when we were at that summer school, and didn't we have fun? And at all levels, you remember what we had in the cafeteria. But if we want to hold back to something, then this is a resistance within us, that lingering. But Spirit says, blessed are you if you mourn. If you let that go, you see, you don't try to hold all the tighter and tighter to it and keep going back to that which has fulfilled its beautiful place in the order of Spirit. Let it go. Let it have its place in the order and move forward. Go forward in that order of Spirit, and you will see then that nothing is lost. Scientifically seen, you have it ever with you. We have it ever with us. And this mourning, this right sense of mourning, will make everything right. It will make all the relationships right between the 6th and the 7,000 year period. The 6th and the 7th will be in balance. Here comes soul again. Mm-hmm. When you have that right sense of mourning, which is to allow it to have its place value in the order, and you don't try to drag it on beyond that place, then you see that its identity is intact. You must allow its identity to be intact and not distort. We distort the identity when we try to take it too far, to carry it on, never to let it be what it is. Its beauty is that it is what it is, and that we allow it to be what it is. Because what it is and where it is in the order has all to do with its identity. And if you distort that, if its identity is distorted, then we don't really understand it. We can't understand it if it is distorted. So these are the characteristics within our own makeup that are so important, and that begin to be quickened within us. We become aware of them and of the bigness of them, the importance of them, as we see them in spirit at the point of the Christ. Another one would be that we are uncompromising. This certainly appears to have a touch of the Christ as far as I can see, that we don't compromise, that we don't give in to something else. You see, thinking that there is something else. To compromise is to share, to go back and forth between two different standpoints, to try to entertain two different standpoints that are the opposite of each other. And so it has to do with choosing, to choose rightly, to take a definite stand, to actively choose rightly, to choose the spiritual. That we don't compromise, we don't give in to something else. We, again, you see another sense of drawing the dividing line within ourselves and never crossing that line. And then we see that patience comes in. Patience is a quality of spirit within us. Why? What do we have? I can't remember a class when I haven't stopped at this point and asked the class, what in the world does patience have to do with spirit? Can anybody tell me?
Allowing the spirit, allowing the development.
Yes. Allowing the development of spirit, allowing the order of spirit, understanding that spirit is order, that we're never without the presence of that order going on. And if we see order, if we see that idea of order and understand it, if we understand that there's an ordering principle at work, then we trust it. And we never feel impatient. We can't feel impatient if we have the consciousness of order. One student said to me once, yes, you can't force a bud to open up. You can't force it to open without really destroying it. You destroy that development, that unfoldment that is going on. You can't say, for instance, well, hurry up, I've got company coming this afternoon, so try to open up. It reminds me of someone I know that was trying to grow a patch of grass in their backyard, and they had company coming. And in about a week, they had planted the grass about a week before, and so every day they were out there watering twice a day or more, practically drowning these seeds in water. And yet after that week passed, just a few little green things coming up, just a hint of green out there. And so they went and bought a can of green paint, spray paint. Spray painted the ground. Well, we can't force the nature to unfold in any other order but its own. And it has everything in nature has that pattern, doesn't it, within itself. It has the order already established within itself. That's patience, to know that and to accept that and go with it. If you have the consciousness of that, you see, it changes your attitude. And we know that everything is at the right place at the right time. Then we come to Christianity in the C. It's now more of a sense of the outcome now within our attitude. What is being raised up really within us are spiritual affections, love for the spiritual, the quality of worship. Worship meaning to focus everything on spirit, to concentrate everything on spirit. That word worship comes from the Old English or the early English word worth-ship, worth. So again, it's about values, it's about worth. What is it that has worth? and how much do you value it. And when we value spirit as the only thing, then we can't help but to actually be a state of worship. And that which you value, you will worship, you will adore. So we have that beautiful quality coming out. We also have the sense of baptism. You know, those two terms, baptism, burial, are used in the Bible and may be used in the textbook too. The being buried, I think it's in the glossary actually. These terms really mean and indicate the effect of the purification process of spirit. They mean to be submerged in spirit, being submerged in spirit, being buried in spirit. You feel that Christianity tone that one is just immersed in, you see, submerged in spirit. And one's whole attitude is being just immersed in spirit. And this is the spiritualization of spirit. Here we take spiritualization as an outcome. It's the outcome of the Word and the Christ that has a great effect, an all-inclusive, all-pervading effect, and that is spiritualization. That we take part in that we want that we go with that we love that as the outcome within our very own being, right here on earth. So it's where we give ourselves over to the spiritualization process, where we want to be spiritualized, we participate in it. And then we come to science, the fourth standpoint in the calculus. And science would define those attitudes that appear to have more to do with science, with a scientific standpoint within us. And science says, what is all that you have been showing, all that I've been showing you in the Word and in the Christ and in Christianity? It's the fact, really, of having only one God, having one God only, that you have only one. And I have also included there scientific obstetrics, and here it is a different definition, really, a different feel from what we saw in the A. We had scientific obstetrics as that which is coming to us, the grace of the fact that the possibility of giving birth comes to us, the order is given to us, that order of scientific obstetrics. And here in the C, it is that we take that up, that we nurture that law, that we love that law, that we work with it, that we cultivate it, and so forth. So that is a very, very high standpoint. It has a very high value in all of our attitudes that we've been looking at. A high standpoint of science within us, that we participate in the active understanding and consciousness of that law of spiritual birth, the attitude of scientific obstetrics. So we would consciously carry that within us all the time. And I think we do. I think to some measure each of us does, that it's there as a background and a scientific background against which we can test everything in our developing experience. So that is spirit. You like it?
Beautiful.
Good. Yes, it's a beautiful thing.